Because I understand that my goals require every version of me. Not the version of me that's always grounded. Not the version of me that's always at peace. Not the version of me that's always centered. My destiny, the things that I want to do, the life that I want to create for myself, requires me to show up in fullness. And that means I have to be able to nurture myself through discomfort. I have to be able to still show up even when I don't feel like it. Even when I'm not in the best mood. Even when I'm taking breaks and taking a step back, I'm still pouring into myself. I'm still refilling my cup. And all the things that I do to refill my cup and to fuel myself is now being put into my dreams, my career, and my goals. Because even if there's a version of yourself that you're not completely proud of, you have to believe that it's showing up in that moment for a good reason. When you start to remove parts of yourself because they're not very beautiful, or you feel like they're not going to be accepted or anything like that, I personally feel like you are depleting yourself of standing out in a very unique way. You are keeping yourself from being totally and fully you. Yes, there are certain boundaries and ways and opportunity to express certain parts of you, but to completely remove it because you are afraid of how you are going to be viewed, I think that you're taking away from your full experience in this lifetime. Let's take anger, for example. When you are angry, it's not just anger. Underneath the umbrella of anger, we have disappointment, we have uneasiness, we have people feeling like their needs aren't met. It's not just anger. Anger is just the outcome of how you felt underneath it all. But if you don't know how to express that, then yes, anger is going to be what you end up finding yourself in every single time. And either you're going to identify yourself as angry or somebody else is going to identify you as angry. Which honestly is so unfair to you because no one wants to be labeled as angry. But if you don't know how to express yourself and break down what this anger has been stemming from or what it is exactly that has gotten you to this point, people try to take advantage of that, and they will purposely push anger onto you until you have no reason but to accept it because that's the only form of expression that you have. Another example is being neutral or positive, always being there for people because you have a kind heart, you like to give, you like to show up for people. But then you'll have situations where you turn around and you're like, oh, people take my kindness for weakness, and now you don't have boundaries. Because you have, unfortunately, matched being positive and being a giver and being someone who is kind-hearted with not having boundaries, you have automatically put yourself in a box because you forgot that you had layers. There are different versions of you. You don't have to just be positive, kind, and not have boundaries. You can do both at the same time. And that in turn will allow you to have these relationships that are healthy and balanced on both ends. And I hear this story much too often, but I think that we forget that some of the most freeing people are people who have boundaries. People who know how to say no, people who know where they belong and how long they belong there, people who are not willing to settle because you aren't going to agree with everything, and that's fine. You don't have to. Being in a situation where it's clearly set up for a yes, but you want to say no, that takes practice. In my flexibility classes, I am teaching this. I am teaching people how to stay in discomfort long enough to identify what is going to be unraveled. Because it's not just going to be, oh, I'm stretching my hamstrings and I'm just opening my hips. No, depending on how long you stay there, depending on how much you practice, depending on how flexible you are, there is going to be a full journey of emotions and experiences and just thoughts and ideas that come up, creative ideas that come up, depending on how long you're willing to really endure that stretch in that full session. You must have an outlet. There has to be some form of routine or structure where you can sit with this discomfort and this feeling of oh, I'm afraid that if I say the wrong thing, I might X, Y, and Z. A lot of these skills are happening in private. You have to understand how your body is responding to it. So when that emotion or that feeling comes up in real life, you don't get afraid of it. I always admired people who had the ability to just be themselves and who had the ability to be in real time and be like, hey, no, I don't agree with that, or no, I'm okay, but thank you. Even if it's real awkward, it can be something as simple as somebody oh, hey, can I take a picture of you? And they mean no harm. They're just being, they're just taking pictures for, I don't know, their content or something. Can I take a picture of you? And instead of you just saying yes because they are in a good mood and you want to match their energy, you're okay with saying no because you sat in discomfort long enough. You know what it feels like to be in that awkward space where you're like, oh, I don't want to disappoint them, but I also want to stay with my truth. I also want to be truthful about who I am. Being able to do that is a superpower. And I believe that the more that we're able to really stand in our truth and allow ourselves to have these full-blown experiences of layers and personality and emotions and all of these just outcomes and conversations and the skills that we learn and the no's and the yeses and the abrupt boldness, like the decisions that we make that are so bold and fearless, like the more that we lean into that, the better and more enjoyable our life would be. Like, and sometimes the way that we practice it is going to be through a physical experience. It's going to be either through yoga or flexibility or going to the gym or having a certain physical goal. It's not going to always be in real time conversations. It can be, but if you want to practice before you get there, you got to train your mind, your heart, and your body to be on the same accord. And one of the ways that we do that is through flexibility and through deep stretching. It's through yoga. And maybe for you, it's through dance, or it's through some other creative outlet, or it's through going to the gym, anything. But whatever allows you to be on the same accord so you can practice those feelings will allow you to be in full expression of yourself without feeling bad about it. You have to be able to give yourself a non-judgmental opportunity to work through these things. Be okay with asking for patience. Be okay with asking questions you don't know the answer to. Be okay with looking silly just for a moment so you can figure out what's happening in real time. But as long as it's coming from a place of like, I'm still learning myself, I'm still understanding, I still don't understand this, or you're trying to work through things, that's the best thing you can do for yourself versus watering yourself down and chucking it up and trying to always be the bigger person to turn the other cheek when you know that that's not something that you want to do. Because then what you're actually doing is keeping yourself in a cycle, because you're going to keep facing that same experience with different people until you learn how to speak up for yourself regardless of what's happening. Whenever I have conversations with my clients and they're like afraid of feeling, I'm like, you're holding yourself back. Not necessarily just from healing, but you're holding yourself back from being the full version of yourself. And the full version of yourself is what's going to allow you to be successful, because there's something very unique and special about you. And if you're not able to fully express yourself without feeling insecure or without like shutting yourself out, you might be missing out on an opportunity that's right in front of you. Because each and every one of our experiences in life shape who we are. And there's something very special about the things that you've seen and the pain that you felt and the love that you've experienced and the fear that you've had in your life and the insecurity. Your overall journey is so unique. You never know who you might be speaking to that needs you to set a boundary and needs you to speak from a place of authenticity and doesn't need you to water yourself down. We're all collectively growing, and it's imperative that you do your part so you don't miss out on your opportunity of connection and ultimately abundance and a prosperous life, because you're literally embodying every part of you. So every version of yourself is necessary. And if you are not practicing right now, you need to be practicing. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude.